Oh, hello. Let me move that. And thank you for crafting together with All Brands for having me back. Let me see if I can just get rid of, I've just noticed there's a bit of a, yeah, that's fine, isn't it? There's still lots of light there. Yeah, so thank you to Crafting with All Brands, or Crafting Together with All Brands, for having me back on their YouTube blog again. Today the theme is, I think it's bubbles and fizz, and so I've created this could be a card front or a journal page or whatever you want it to be, and I thought I'll take you through the process. So here we go. I'm going to pop that to one side now, and I've cut myself a piece of card that's it's 6 by 6, this piece of card, and that seems to work quite well. Oh, I thought I was organised, but I've forgotten I'm going to have to use my squeaky platform again, because I don't have an unsqueaky platform. So I'm just going to pop my, you could easily do this with, use your acrylic blocks or whatever. It's not really, pardon me, it's not difficult. So I'm going to be using this stamp set. I'm just using a couple of little pieces off here, in fact one little piece off here. These are all art inspiration stamps, and I'm also going to be using some pieces from this one. This one's from our Sylvia, and then I'm using some Mr. Barghurst stamps, and I've put all the links to the stamps I've used in the comments. So I'm going to be using those stamps. I'm also going to be using some Lindy's. I'm using Octopus Eyes Aqua, Starfish Foot Fuchsia, and Sea Anemone Amethyst. And I'm also going to be using UFO Yellow. What else am I using? I'm using some Inktense pencils. You could you could use watercolor pencils, or you could use pencil crayons, or you could use watercolor. These are for the bubbles, and when I'm doing them, you'll see that the technique can be transferred. And then I'm also using some crayons, pencil crayons, and everything's in shades of, I've got shades of blues and pinks and purple with the Inktense, with the exception of a Payne's grey one, and with these are pinks and blue and orange. These I'm going to colour the little monster with those. So that's that. Oh, what else have I got? I'm also using Broken China Distress Oxide and Peeled Paint Distress Oxide, and I think that's everything I'm using pretty much. So I'll get started. I'm going to use this bottle again because it's rather nice. With these Mr. Barghurst stamps, there are there's a few with the bottles, so you do get a choice. Like this one's just got cork, and this one has got more like a hopefully you can see it there, more like a mason jar fastening to it, which is a lot of fun. So let's stamp this when we want it, about there, and I'll also pop my monster on and I'm just going to pop him, you know, he's just going to be floating in a bubble, so I've just got him at a jaunty angle. There we go. So let's ink that up and get it stamped. Well, I hope you had a lovely festive season, whatever you've done and wherever you've been. I hope it's been full of joy and love and not too stressful. There we go, just giving those a little push to make sure that I get a nice image, because I'm a bit of a weak pusher, I'm afraid. Or I've got a little something on my stamp there, but we won't worry about it because we'll be colouring it in. So let's get rid of these ones. Now, one thing I did with my last one is that on here I didn't make a mask for this little monster, and so I had to bleach out some of the colour on it, and it was a bit of a faff. So this time I've made a little mask, and you don't have to worry about these little hairs, cutting them out. They're fine to stay as they are. There we go, that's that on there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is one of my favourite little stamps because it's so handy. Excuse all the noise. And it's just, this is what it is, and it's just a really lovely way of excuse me, of grounding your images. It's really, really handy, so I'm going to just do that a couple of times with my still squeaky, but it works, doesn't it? I mean, it works. It might be squeaky, but it works. So, you know, why fix it if it's not broke? So just put in a couple of these, and I'm going to leave that one there like that. And let's do that again. Not too much more stamping if the squeaking's driving you mad. There we go. Right, and I want to bring that down a little bit there. So I'm going to actually go a little bit, because I think it will look a bit odd if I don't. There we go. Let's do that. And there we go. Oh, lovely. So I'm happy with how that is looking at the bottom there. So I'll pop that little stamp back on its sheet. Bear with me. Let's pop that one over there out of the way now. And now I'm going to get some of Sylvia's ferns. She's done some, and I love this stamp anyway. It's an awesome stamp and an awesome sentiment. I mean, look, there's a little caterpillar as well. I love it. I might use that actually today. So I'm just taking these ferns now and plopping them around. I want to do maybe 5 fern leaves. So go. So let's pop those, ink them up. Oh, you could use green ink on these if you wanted to. Let me move that so you can see. There we go. Love how that looks. And oh, do you know, I think that looks quite nice like that. I might just add one more because I like odd numbers. Let's have just, I think it only needs one more on there. I think that's really nice. Lovely. So I think that's all the stamping done that I need doing. So I've got my images. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my bubbles on. Let me just put these stamps out of the way. And I'll wipe my messy fingers because I'm all inky. Right. So let's get that squeaky noisy thing out of the way. So for my bubbles, I've got a stencil, but you could use anything that's round, or if you want to go freehand, go freehand. So I'm picking a bubble that's going to fit my monster in. I think that one is a good fit. And I'm just drawing round. And I'm going to do a similar pattern to the pattern that I did on my first go of this, because I quite liked how that worked. Yeah, like that. So there we go. Now we're going to be putting lots of stuff. Well, I suppose, yeah, we are. We're going to be putting lots of stuff over these. But as long as we can see roughly where they are, that's all we need. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on my background. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Octopus Eyes Aqua, and you don't need much of Lindy's at all, so you might not even be able to see where I've sprinkled this. I don't know, can you? No, I don't think you can, because you really don't need a lot. They're highly pigmented, they're fabulous colours. This one is the Sea Anemone Amethyst. Excuse me, I've had the lurgy for weeks now. It seems to be very fond of me. And let's just put a little bit of this one. This is Starfish Foot Fuchsia. So basically gone for, oh heck, do you know, I've forgotten a really important step. Right, I'm going to have to do it off camera. Oh no, you can see there. Before I do my Lindy's, what I need to do is I need to take my Distress Oxides, and I'm just putting, I'm not getting too hung up on it. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Thank goodness I remembered. So I'm taking Broken China here, and I'm not being too precious about it. Oh, my little monster jumped off. Don't do that. You need to stay there. We can get around it if it does drop off, but it makes life a lot easier if it stays where it is. So just adding that little bit of broken china there. It's not a lot, but it's just, you know, it's just another layer. It will just add to the final look. So, and then this is the peeled paint. There we go. So nothing too delicate or precious, just adding those layers of colour. Let me just get this. There we go. Wipe that off. Right, so, and we can go back to where we were. So I've got my Lindy's, just small amounts on my board, and I'm going to add some water to activate them. There we go. I want them nice and juicy. So I've got some colour on there now, and I've got my mask on my monster just to make it a little bit easier for me when I come to colouring time. And I'm just gonna, I'm not worried about anything else getting Lindy's on, and also the inks in the background will really benefit from having that little bit of a pop from the Lindy's. And you just poke it in until you're happy, and I think that's looking very nice. And I like what's happening in this bottle as well. It's just giving it that little bit extra. Now, do I want any more colour? Am I happy with that? I'm happy with that, I think. It's not quite as dark as the last one, but I did think the last one was too dark, so that kind of mitigates that, doesn't it? Let me push that up there. I'm just drying off the background now. I mean, it's great if you can let it dry naturally, but I don't expect that you want to sit here with me for 40 minutes or so while we wait. To see what's going to happen. Oh, the mica's really coming out. You stay where you're put, little monster. There's a really lovely shimmer to this now. Let me see, how dry is that? That's quite dry now. Just wiping, because when you dry something flat on your glass mat, you'll always find there's a little bit of condensation then on the mat, so it's good to give it a wipe. I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking, do I want to add a little bit more colour? Here's the one I did, and it does have a bit more colour, but I'm gonna go with the lighter version and see where it takes us. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take a little bit of this UFO yellow. There you go, that's quite a lot of it, but it's fine. And then I'm going to take my little fan brush and get it quite wet. And there we go, getting a nice wet bit of paint there. And I'm just splattering. Because it's fizzy and bubbly, and that's what we want. We want fizzy and bubbly. There we go. That's got a nice little bit on there, so let's do that. And then I'm going to take, I don't know if I mentioned this in the initial ingredients, I'm going to take some bleed proof white, because it never lets me down. If you're looking for a white that just isn't going to go anywhere or blend into your background, this is the stuff for you. And I'm using my fan brush on here as well, because I just think it's adding to that magical look of sparkles and fizziness and all of that. And let's just wipe that off. And now I'm going to dry this off before I do anything more. Oh, come on now. This poor heat gun is desperate to die. I do have a newer one, but this is the one I grabbed, unfortunately. Let's just turn it over and give it a little blast on the back as well. There we go. And wipe that condensation away. So this is where we are now at. So, oh good, I've managed to keep my monster fairly colour free, so I'm very happy about that. And now I'm going to start adding to this and adding some more detail. So I'm going to start with the Payne's Grey Inktense pencil, and I'm just gently following the lines of the circle, but not completely. Okay, and you don't have to be too exact about this, because they're water soluble. You'll be able to blend it in. So again, just adding that, and I'm also going to add the grey on the edge of the bottle as well. There we go. Then I'm going to take, this is a darker blue, this is, what's this one called? This is called Lapis Blue. And because these are water soluble, I'm putting them down dry together so that I can blend them then when I add water. If I was using pencil crayons, I would work slightly differently and be blending as I went along. So I'm just coming in a little bit from the grey, just coming in a little bit from the grey. That's it. And again, the same on the bottle. Just coming in a little bit. And on this one as well, let me come down a little bit high up there. There we go. So then, excuse me, I'm going to go for this is excuse me, blowing my nose. This is an amethyst colour. And again, I'm coming in just a little bit from that blue. I'm not worrying too much about going over the monster with these colours because he's supposed to be in the bubble. And again, on everything else, exactly the same way. And I'm going to take a pink now. This is fuchsia. And just bringing that in as well. And maybe coming round a little bit on its own. But you can see there's nothing, nothing tidy about what I'm doing with this. Because we're going to soften it all up and make it look tidy when we add water. And if you're using ink tints, be mindful of the fact that they are, again, something that's quite highly pigmented, so you don't want to go too heavy. And also, if you go too heavy, you'll end up with lines. So this is called Malibu, and it's a light blue colour. But you can do exactly the same with pencil crayons or watercolours or whatever your preferred medium is. There we go, just adding it again and again. So now I've laid those down, I'm going to get my water and I'm going to get rid of that fan brush a minute, pop it on the side. And I am going to use I think this is a number 10 round brush, nice and easy to use for lots of projects. And I'm just getting it wet and I'm going to activate these colours now. So I'm just going to take my time and I'm not going to smush straight over into all of the colours. I'm taking my time and I'm going around the edge because I will clean my brush before I go into the pink now. There we go, and a nice clean brush, and just coming into that pink. Oh, this monster's so cute, isn't he? Stinking cute. A bit more of that pink. Yeah, I was a little bit heavy-handed with that pencil there, I can see. And I've got some little lines in that pink. But I think I'll be able to disguise my heavy-handedness. So that's number 1. I like where that's going. I've just got a slightly drier brush, just tidying up that edge. Yeah, I did go too heavy with that pink on there, but it's all good, and it's all rescuable. So I'm going to do the same on this one, going into the grey and the dark blue first. There. Then I'm going to come into the pink. And I don't mind the pink blending into the first two colours, but if I'd taken my brush that was covered in the dark blue, I would have lost a lot of that colour. It would have murkied it. So I'm just cleaning my brush again so that I can bring, that's it, there. Bring that blue into play. I just need to blend this out a little bit. There, that's looking good. I'm using Pink Frog Super Smooth, as I do pretty much. Well, I do a lot of the time. I sometimes use Pink Frog watercolour, and I have been experimenting with Pink Frog Leather Effect, which is very nice, and also Pink Frog Linen Effect, which is very nice. It just depends what sort of effect you want. There we go. The leather gives a really nice texture. Oh, look at me, I've done exactly what I said I didn't want to do, and I went into the pink. It seems to be holding up though. That is the one thing about pretty much everything I do. I always do things that are very forgiving because I need it. Yeah, again, you can see I was a little bit heavy with that pink, with the pink crayon, and it's left a few lines, but it will be okay. I mean, they'll help hopefully add to the spherical nature of the bubble, but we can also, when we add the white, we can also kind of cover them up a little bit too. I just think these bottles with the background and the other colours look so interesting. Yeah, if I saw this, I would want to know what was in it. Yeah, I've done it again with the pink on the bottle. I cannot be trusted, can I? Right, there we go. So that's pretty much where I want that to be. So I'm going to dry this off now. Oh, actually, I'm saying that and I've just seen that this line is quite hefty. I think it'll be alright. I think it'd help if I was using the same brush and it was wet, wouldn't it? I think it's going to be alright. But I just want to blend it a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that now. So I'm going to dry this off, ready for the next bit of layering up. turn it over and give it a little blast. There we go. I think a little bit more, it's still a little bit done. And one thing I have found, because I'm going to use a Posca pen on this, and I have found they do not like going onto damp pages. They're not a fan. So I'm just making sure that I get these nice and dry. Right, that's nice and dry now. Let me get a little bit of kitchen towel. Just get rid of that condensation. There we go. So that's where we're at now. Now I'm going to use my Posca pen. Now this is an old one, so I have got a new one on standby, but this one may well do the job. So all I'm doing now is I'm adding some reflections, and I'm going to do it where I've got that line that I'm not happy with. And let's do a little square. Yeah, this is desperate to die on me, but I think we will. That's the theme, isn't it? That's my theme. Everything wants to give up except me. And so we do opposite sides. Well, I do opposite sides. I mean, there's a million tutorials on drawing bubbles. There really is. But this is how I do mine. And I sometimes mix it up and do it a slightly different way. But I find the basic fundamentals of where I put my light and shade generally stay the same. But if you look at something shiny in the light, that will give you a good idea of light and shade and how the light reflects. Oh, come on, pen, you can do it. We're nearly done. Let's give it a little pump. Yeah, there's plenty in there. I think I destroyed it by using it on slightly damp paint, and of course that's then gonna affect the nib. But you know how it is sometimes when you're a bit desperate to get something done. Just putting a few little marks, dots, whatever you want to call them, and I'll do the same on this one. Just come on, just recreating the shapes that would be there if there was light shining on it. Let's do that. This would be a lot easier if I just grabbed the new pen and used it, wouldn't it? But why make life easy? There, and again, just a little line there. And I've also used this on the bottle just to sort of give the impression of reflections. I mean, the shading's been done for you on the neck of the bottle rather conveniently. So it's just a matter of doing what you think is gonna work. And if you're ever, you know, if you're ever at a loss as to where to put it, just look at something in real life. Just look, you know, I'm looking, look, my murky water, but I can see where the light is. There's a line of light around there, and then there's the bigger shape there. So you'll get to know where to put things. There, I think I'm happy with that. So that's our little highlights done. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to give this a little blast because it will be wet. Right, there we go. So we're looking good, I think. Now, if we want to add some more shadow, one of the things I sometimes do to add more shadow is I'll use, I use it on a lot of projects actually. I've got a grey Stabilo pen, and I like using this because it's water soluble as well. I mean, you won't get rid of it if you do something that you don't like, but you can blend it in. So, and I use that on this one, but the background is a bit darker on this one, and I don't think it necessarily needs it on here. I think it's looking right. So, but it just depends on how dark your background is. Right, so I'm going to do my little monster now. I always take, oh, see, I told you that would be wet. Never mind. I always take a pale blue and I just go around the edge of eyes because they're spherical, aren't they? Eyes are spherical, and so they would have a darker, if you look at them, they look darker around the edge. So, and I find for these sort of whimsical eyes, putting a little bit of light blue around just kind of helps add to that. And then I'm going to take my pink pencil, and I'm not even thinking about it, I'm just adding some colour, but I'm leaving gaps. I'm not going for full coverage. There. I'm not worried about the bits that are under that white mark there. I'm just going to carry on, and then I'm taking an orange pencil and going on it again, and it's going to take, you know, fill those little spaces that I didn't get the first time round. And you could add another colour to this and do exactly the same if you wanted to. That's how, I don't know if you've seen some of the samples I've made with the monsters, but if you look at my rainbow monsters, this is exactly how I've done them. I've done them by just colouring very loosely in several different colours. So there we go. And then it would be remiss of me not to do his little feet. So I take I've got a light skin tone, and I'm just colouring in his feet. Not much to it. There we go, just colouring in those feet. I love these feet so much. They are awesome. If you don't follow Mr. Berghest, I recommend that you do. He's done some amazing drawings, and he does sculpture and all sorts. He's a really talented person. Right, so I've just added a little bit of pink in places, and of course this pink's very dark, so I'm going back over that then with the skin tone, well, the pale skin tone, just to blend that in. It's not because I'm using a very fine pencil here, because I just grabbed them out of my pencil case, and they don't blend as much as the more oil-based pencils. Right, there we go. I like that. That's looking good. So I'm going to finish this off now by grabbing my I'm going to try and grab it. Let me see, where are you? There. I'm grabbing my this is my walnut stain ink pad, so I'm going to use that. I'm also going to pop just a little bit more green oxide on the bottom of here, because I think because it's lighter, I think it can take it. So just a little bit more green on the bottom there, and give that a little wipe, because we don't want to get it everywhere. There we go. And then I'm going to take my walnut ink, and this pad, I mean, goodness, I think I'll be on Antiques Roadshow with it. I just keep re-inking it, and I just love it. So let's go around the edge with this. And it's my foam pad falling to pieces as well. Oh, I'm terrible, aren't I? I need to really get on top of these things. But it's been Christmas. So, oh dear, yeah, I need to get on top of these things. Look at the marks that I've got on there. Let's see if I can. It's going to take a little bit of work, that is. Hopefully when I add the water, it will make it look a little bit tidier. Yeah, it's pressing too much with an old sponge. Learn to replace my foam pads, I think. Right, there we go. That's all done. Let's just wipe that again. And a nice clean piece of kitchen roll. And I'm going to I'm pulling the trigger. This is a Tim Holtz spritzer, and if you have one, you know that if you pull this trigger slowly, you get more bigger blobs of water, and that's what I want for this. And then I'm just gonna put my tissue over that, my kitchen roll. Oh, we have gone a bit dark, sorry, bear with me. Now I know how long the battery lasts in my in my light, don't I? Not as long as I would like is the answer to that. Right, let me just plug this in. Bear with me. That should create light, hopefully. Let's have a look. Yes, there we go. We are back to light. So there we go. I'm going to take that off there. I love that effect. And that is my Bubble and Fizz YouTube hop design. Am I saying this right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right. All finished. And there's the one I did to figure out what I was going to do. And you could pop them on a card front, or you could pop them in your art journal, or you could do the whole design on an art journal page. but that's how I've done it. And isn't it, I just find it so interesting looking at them both, and I've used exactly the same colours for both of them. Oh, I need to just colour in that cork. I've used exactly the same colours for both of them, and it's really interesting to see how they've come out completely different. So I'm just adding a little bit of brown to there. It's just a coloured pencil. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, ta-da, there we are. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you again to Crafting Together with All Brands for having me back again. I hope they'll have me back next month, because it's really nice to join in. Please don't forget to look in the comments, and you'll see links for all the products, but you'll also see a list of links for everybody else who's taking part in this YouTube hop, that's what it is. And we're all doing the same theme, so it'll be quite interesting to go and see what everybody else is doing with that theme. So thank you so much, and yeah, see you again soon. Thank you.